guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about how to get that old school vintage surf rock tone. I have made a similar video before, but I have decided to make another one because I wasn't really too happy about the things I presented last time, and I learned so much more. So that previous video is now unlisted, but this one hopefully will get you that very authentic tone with as minimal gear. And I don't want you to just watch this video and decide, hey, I need to buy more gear, or I need to buy more amps or more pedals or whatever. Now, without further ado, let's talk first about the guitars. I am using the Telecaster for this specific demonstration, and the reason is because it has the single coil pickups. Now, humbuckers will work okay, but you gotta manage your expectation. You're not gonna get that sparkly sound or as much as you would get if you're using single coil pickups. And you also have to know that when it comes to the output of the pickup, which is something important when we talk about surf rock tone, there will be some difference. Usually humbuckers have higher output. I'm also using the middle position. I could go for the bridge position, but I decided for the songs I demoed, I think the middle position just sounds better to my ears. Now, I'll skip the effects for now and I'll talk about the amplifier. For me, I'm using a VOX amp. The thing is about surf rock you need to understand is that you can get that tone from any clean amp, or even if it's a non-clean amp. Most like rock or metal amps have a clean channel, or you can get them to sound clean more or less. Now, the thing I want you to focus on is that you don't want it to be super pristine, clear, clean. If you listen to any of these old timeless records that of bands like the Ventures or Link Ray or the Chantelays or any of the amazing people that were recording back then, they were using tube amps. These amps had overdrive that just coming from the tube when you're playing it, right? Now, before I move on into the effects, I want you to listen to how I set up my amp without any effects. Obviously, the reverb and all the other effects, which I'll talk about, will affect the perception of how much overdrive or how clean or dirty the amp is. So this is how the amp sounds with zero effects, just my guitar right into the amp. Anyway, this is the point. When you set up your amp, you want it to be just a little bit dirty. Okay, now let's talk about the most important effect, which is the spring reverb. Not all spring reverb units or effects or pedals or real springs in the amp or tube-driven spring reverb, not all of them can give you the drip sound or the surf rock sound. So I now have the spring reverb on. This is why I want you just to pay attention to something very specific that I'm doing and just focus on the tone. In surf rock, there is this very popular technique / sound that's called the drip, so it sounds like that. It's basically when you mute the strings and you pluck hard and you play single notes, and usually it is with the E or A or D strings. This is probably the most important thing you want from your reverb sound or spring reverb tank. Now for me, I'm using the SurfyBear Industries spring reverb tank. Now how you set it up, most spring reverb tanks have three main knobs. There is the tone. I'll go through them very fast because it's really not rocket science. I'll just give you the key. After hours of experimentation, I have reached to this result. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe Dick Dale did not use his spring reverb tank this way. This is what sounds great to my ears and sounds authentic. Basically, just put the tone anywhere you like. The tone is subjective, depending on the guitar and the amp. The second thing is the mixer. The mixer, put it all the way up. You want as much reverb as possible coming from your spring reverb tank. The last but not least, it's the dwell knob. A dwell knob is similar to the time knob, which is very common in reverb units or pedals. The dwell specifically is how loose the reverb is. So if I set the dwell all the way up, I can't really control. And if you notice, when I play, I like to pick fast. I don't want something to drag on, so I don't use too much dwell. And if you lose too little dwell, you lose reverb. Now let's move into the less impressive stuff or less exciting stuff. I like to use a delay also, but I like to use it in a very subtle way. It's not that essential, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but if I had to say anything, set it in a way that's just subtle, just to give your overall tone thickness. You're not really trying to challenge the reverb. And if you have choices of delay, the priority would be tape delay, then drum delay, then analog, then standard digital. The other thing is, tremolo and vibrato are the two modulation effects that you will hear a lot. Now there is a difference, of course, between the vibrato and the tremolo. Tremolo is more of a volume difference and vibrato is a pitch difference. I don't use vibrato too much for surf rock, and tremolo is one of my top favorite effects, so I'm actually using the tremolo in the VOX. So I think this is it for this video. I think most of these videos on how to get the tone for a specific genre tend to be simple. What's important are these. Like Yoga Valverto, he've always said that. He doesn't know me, I'm not affiliated with anyone yet. So the most important message is practice, get your techniques right, play the songs right. This is just on how to sound more authentic, not necessarily better. The only way you can sound better is play better. That's my recommendation. So I'll see you in the next video, but before you click off, please subscribe, like, write a comment, and share this video on your favorite gear page forum. See you next time.
Mm-hmm.